At 4:18 in the morning on September 7, 1944, Sergeant Carl Whitmore crawled through a drainage ditch 600 yards behind the German front line. He had been separated from his unit for 11 hours. He had no radio, he had no food, he had no map. He had a Springfield M1903 sniper rifle with 40 rounds, a Ka-Bar knife, and a canteen with approximately half a liter of water. He weighed 161 pounds, down from 187 pounds before deployment. He had not slept in 31 hours. Whitmore was a sniper with the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, dropped into the Netherlands as part of Operation Market Garden. His stick had been scattered during the drop. 6 of his 12 men had landed in a German-controlled field. 3 had been killed immediately. 2 had been captured. Whitmore had landed in a drainage ditch 900 yards off target. He had crawled east for 4 hours before realizing he had moved in the wrong direction. He was now deeper inside German territory. He had 2 choices: attempt to cross 600 yards of open ground to reach Allied lines or stay and hide. Germans had established machine gun positions covering every approach. The open ground was impossible to cross in daylight without being killed. Whitmore stayed. He calculated that a crossing attempt had a 90% probability of failure. He would wait for the right moment. He would use his time productively. He had a sniper rifle. He had ammunition. He was behind German lines. The mathematics were simple. Hit that like button and subscribe to see how this single sniper survived 28 days behind enemy lines and killed 31 soldiers. Carl Whitmore was born in Wyoming in 1919. He had been hunting elk and mule deer in the mountains since age 11. By age 16, Whitmore could reliably hit a target the size of a dinner plate at 400 yards with an iron-sighted rifle. He participated in D-Day on June 6, 1944. He killed 7 German soldiers during the Normandy campaign at long ranges. By September, Whitmore had been in combat for 3 months. He was fit, experienced, and calm, despite being wounded once by shrapnel. Operation Market Garden began on September 17th. The plan was to seize bridges across the Rhine to potentially end the war by Christmas. It failed. Paratroopers were running out of ammunition and food. The perimeter around Arnhem was shrinking under heavy German resistance. On the night of September 6th, Whitmore's stick was assigned a reconnaissance mission to observe German troop movements on the Arnhem Road. At 11:47 p.m., they observed a German infantry column of 300 men. Whitmore radioed the position. The mission was accomplished. But at 12:15 a.m., a German patrol of 8 men encountered the Americans. Both sides opened fire at a range of 15 yards. The firefight lasted 40 seconds. 3 Americans were killed in the first 10 seconds, including the corporal carrying the radio. 2 more Americans went down in the next 30 seconds. The German patrol was destroyed, all 8 men killed or mortally wounded, but the Americans had paid a severe cost. Of the 12 men in the stick, 5 were dead, 2 were wounded, and 2 others had broken contact and run east in the confusion of the firefight. Whitmore and Corporal James Hadley were the 2 uninjured men. Hadley was carrying one of the 2 radios the stick had brought. The radio had taken a bullet during the firefight and was not functioning. Whitmore and Hadley treated the 2 wounded men briefly, determined that neither could walk, and made the decision to attempt to find help. They moved south. At 1:30 a.m., Whitmore and Hadley were moving through an orchard when they walked into a German position. 6 German soldiers were bivouacked in the orchard. They heard the approach and opened fire. Hadley was hit twice in the legs. He could not walk. He told Whitmore to leave him. Whitmore did not leave Hadley. He dragged him into a drainage ditch. Whitmore gave Hadley his pistol, spare ammunition, and half his water. Then Whitmore ran east to draw the German soldiers away. He ran for 400 yards before the Germans stopped pursuing. He hid in a field of tall grass and waited. After 2 hours, the Germans did not return. Whitmore oriented himself and discovered he had moved in the wrong direction during the pursuit. He was now 600 yards behind the German front line, east of his original position. With no radio, no map, and no knowledge of the perimeter, he moved to a farmhouse. It was abandoned. He entered and found a German military map left by a previous occupant. Whitmore identified the drainage ditch network connecting the fields north of Arnhem. If he followed the ditches, he would eventually reach the river. To reach the river, Whitmore had to cross through German-occupied territory. He estimated the journey would take 4 nights. He had 40 rounds of ammunition and half a liter of water. He did not have 4 nights. On the first night, September 8th, Whitmore moved 3 miles south. He hid during the day in a beet field, lying flat in a furrow. German soldiers searched the area twice. Both times they searched within 60 yards of Whitmore's position. He did not move. On the night of September 9th, Whitmore moved further south and encountered a German headquarters position at a farmhouse, approximately 30 German soldiers and 3 officers. The farmhouse sat at a road junction that commanded all 4 directions of approach. Whitmore decided to eliminate the officers. Without officers to coordinate, the headquarters would be degraded, reducing the threat to his movement. At 11:20 p.m., Whitmore shot both officers through the window. Both shots were fired within 5 seconds. Both officers were killed. Whitmore immediately moved 300 yards east and lay flat in a ditch. The Germans at the farmhouse returned fire in all directions. He crossed the German front line at 3:15 a.m. on September 10th. He was brought in by soldiers of the 504th Parachute Infantry Regiment. He had been behind German lines for 27 hours. Whitmore was debriefed, given food and water, and assigned to his regiment. He expected to be finished for several days. He was not finished. The commander requested that Whitmore return behind German lines. Whitmore agreed. He crossed the Allied perimeter again at 11 p.m. on September 11th. This time he stayed for 26 more days. He was supplied twice by Allied agents through a Dutch resistance network, providing him with food, water, and boxes of sniper ammunition. During those 26 days, Whitmore conducted himself as a one-man harassment operation. He killed 29 more German soldiers. He killed 1 German colonel at a range of 380 yards, the longest confirmed shot of his career. On September 22nd, Whitmore observed a German armored column of 16 tanks preparing to attack the Allied perimeter. When the German attack came, it was met with prepared defenses. American casualties were 22 killed, but would have been 4 times higher. Whitmore walked back through Allied lines on October 5th. He weighed 143 pounds, down from 161. He had 11 rounds of ammunition remaining. He was 25 years old. Major General James Gavin personally recommended Whitmore for the Distinguished Service Cross. The citation did not describe how Whitmore slept in drainage ditches, cellars, and haystacks for 4 weeks while German soldiers searched for him. These men were trained as hunters. A fighter attacks the enemy. A hunter chooses when to attack and when to remain invisible. Carl Whitmore was discharged in 1945. He returned to Wyoming and worked on his family's ranch. He hunted elk every fall until age 72. He died in 1998. Among his belongings was the German military map from the abandoned farmhouse, folded into a worn leather wallet. He was a sniper from Wyoming who decided that the situation was not a catastrophe but an opportunity. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We rescue forgotten stories from archives every single day. Thank you for watching, and thank you for making sure Carl Whitmore doesn't disappear into silence. You can carry his story forward.